Hey everyone, I'm Manoj Kumar, and today in this session we'll be talking about the chapter Money and Banking, and we will be specifically talking about the various definitions of money. The various definitions of money. The first one is legal definition. The first one is legal definition. It is very simple. It says that money is what the law says money is. What did I say? Money is what the law says money is. Whatever the central bank says, earlier we had 500 notes, 100 notes of different make. One fine day, they were no more legal tender. Now we have 2000 notes even, and their shape and size have also changes. So whatever the law says, that is the money, right? Then we have, that is one definition. Another is functional definition. Then another is functional definition. We know that money has four main functions. One is it is medium of exchange. Another is it is a measure of value. It is a store of value, and it is used for deferred payments. So as per the functional definition of money, money is a medium of exchange, a store of value, measure of value, and a standard of deferred payments. When we combine all of them, then we get the functional definition of money. Money is a medium of exchange, store of value, measure of value, and a standard of deferred payments. Right? Then we have its definition as per liquidity. As per liquidity, we have two types. One is narrow money, and another is broad money. Narrow money has more liquidity, and broad money has less liquidity. We will see them when we will talk about the measures of money supply, right? Then another is legal tender. It has two types. One is fiat money, another is fiduciary money. So what is fiat money? Fiat money is the money which is issued under the authority of the government. Fiat money is the money which is issued under the authority of the government, like the notes that are in circulation, which all of them are guaranteed by the central government, and the Reserve Bank promises to pay bearer the sum of amount which is there on the face value of the money. So that is fiat money which is issued under the authority of the government. It has to be accepted. If someone is paying someone with the legal tender, the person is bound to accept it. And fiduciary money is the money which acceptance depend on the trust of the two parties. The trust of the two parties, payer and payee. Right? If someone is giving a check, the person might not accept it. The person will accept only when the person has trust in him, he knows him, he is sure that it will not be dishonored, this person is trustworthy, otherwise that person will not accept the check. So fiduciary money is a money whose acceptance is dependent on the trust between the two parties. The trust between the two parties. It can be refused as well. But fiat money is something which cannot be refused. And then we have limited legal tender and unlimited legal tender. Limited legal tender means if someone is going to pay me 1000 rupees with coins of 2 rupee coins or 5 rupee coins, I will need a bag to carry it. I might refuse it. But if the person is paying that money in 100 rupees note or 500 note, I will not refuse the acceptance of that. So, if I have gone to a shop, bought something which cost rupees 20, given the shopkeeper 100 rupees note, if the shopkeeper gives me 81 rupee coins, I might not accept that. So, there is limited legal tender and there is unlimited legal tender, right? Clear? And then we have, as we have seen in the evolution of money, there is full-bodied money, there is full-bodied money, and there is credit money. There is credit money. Full-bodied money is where the face value of the money and its value as a commodity are same. The face value, what is written, and its value as a commodity, both are same. That is known as full-bodied money. Earlier, 1 rupee gold coin or 1 rupee silver coin used to contain as much gold or silver as 1 rupee can buy at that point of time. Similarly, we have seen credit money where the face value is more than its value as a commodity, like 100 rupees note. Its face value is 100 rupees, but its value as a commodity is only as a piece of paper only, right? Similarly, if we can recall the silver coin that we buy during Diwali, the face value is rupees 1, but its value as a commodity is about rupees 1000. We have to pay 1000 to buy a coin of silver on which rupee 1 is written, right? So, we have face value and intrinsic value, which is also known as its value as commodity. So, these were the definitions of money. We must be aware of all of them, right? Now, we will talk about the various measures of money supply. We will talk about the various measures of money supply. Measures of money supply, right? We will talk about various measures of money supply. So, we have 4 of them. One is M1. M1 is currency, that is notes and coins, currency with public plus demand deposits with commercial banks plus other deposits with RBI, like deposits of commercial banks with RBI, deposits of various international organizations with RBI. So that is M1. Then M2 is M1 plus deposit deposits in post offices, bank, in savings account. In savings account. Right? Then we have M3. Then we have M3. This M3 is M1 plus fixed deposits with commercial banks. Fixed deposits or term deposits or time deposits. And then we have M4, which is M3 plus fixed deposits with post offices, banks, excluding National Savings Certificate. So in M1 and M2, there is no element of fixed deposit or term deposit or time deposit. So, but in M3 and M4, there is an element of fixed deposit, which we can withdraw only after the maturity period, right? So, the liquidity of M1 and M2 is more as compared to liquidity of M3 and M4. Right? So, as we have seen earlier, this is known as, these two M1 and M2 are known as narrow money, and M3 and M4 are known as broad money. Their liquidity is less as compared to M1 and M2. Liquidity wise, M1 is most liquid, then we have M2, then we have M3, and then M4. This is how the liquidity of the various measures of money supply is. The most common and popular measure of money supply is M3. The most common and popular measure of money supply is M3. So, in this video, we talked about the various definitions of money, and we talked about various measures of money supply. We talked about their classification as narrow money and broad money, and we also saw what their liquidity is. Which one is more liquid and which one is least liquid. Right? In our next video, we will be talking about central bank and its functions. Right? Thank you.